it's been about 2 weeks since I've had my listing appointment at Bertrand. And at the appointment, it went really well. I was there forever. Usually a listing appointment should take about an hour. If they've got a lot of questions or it's a big house, maybe an hour and a half. But this one went like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, because it was them, their daughter, and they had a ton of questions, and they just were really talkative and wanted to show me around the house very thoroughly. So the house was nowhere near ready for listing. They had a ton of stuff, a lot of personal items, a lot of cleaning that needed to be done. They had painted themselves, and I hated to be the bearer of bad news, but it really needed to be painted. Just the colors, the quality, just all of it. It did have hardwood floors, which I really liked. Kitchen and baths were outdated. Basement was finished, but very outdated. So I don't like to talk at a listing appointment too much about the negatives, even though it happens. It's just the nature of the beast. You got to kind of put people into a little bit of a reality check, but you don't want to make them too deflated. So as I'm walking through the house, I always make notes. So as I'm walking up to the front door, you immediately start making notes, because you only have that initial first impression once. And so you want to remember how you felt walking up to the house. Was it welcoming? Were the bushes overgrown? Does it need mulch? Does the front door need painting? Are there cobwebs? Does it need to be power washed? Things like that. And those are the things I'm noting as I walk up to the house. Because as you go 2 or 3 times, you don't have that initial shock of, oh, there's a broken number on the mailbox. You know, you really have your best first impression first, obviously. So I make a lot of notes before I even knock on the door. So once I get inside, I'm constantly making notes, and I put little stars by the things that I need to email them about or address later, so that way, because my notes get really thorough. Like as I'm walking through, I'm making a note of outdated carpet, hole in the wall, scuffed staircase here, missing light bulbs. But and I'm also making notes on the positives. So if I get the listing, which I am counting on, banking on, that I've got some good marketing remarks, like was it a gas stove? Is there stainless appliances? Is it nicely lit with lots of natural sunlight? Open floor plan, things like that. I'm making notes, positive and negative, and my notes get really full. So what I do when I go to the listing appointment is I bring that sheet with me that I initially filled out from the phone call. So if there was anything that was missing from that phone call, like say they didn't know the age of the roof, or whatever, there might be some things that are missing. So those are always things that you want to bring up in the conversation when you're there on your listing appointment. So I bring that sheet with me. I've got a clipboard. I personally have these seller guides that I bring with me that make it wonderful to get through a listing appointment. So you want to do something like that for yourself. Make a presentation, whether it's in PowerPoint or whether it's a folder full of information. I like the printed book that I've created, because it gives us something tangible, something I can leave behind if they want to show it to their kids or their financial advisor or whatever. They've got everything we talked about right there in front of them. And some older people, in fact, I've got 2 deals right now. Neither of them have emails or computers. So anyway, so it's good to have the book. I can leave it with them, because both of these sellers both need to talk it over with their children. So it's good. I leave that with them instead of sending an email with a PDF or whatever. But however fits best for you. If you'd rather bring your laptop and do a PowerPoint presentation, more power to you. But I would always suggest leaving them with something in print, something tangible, to remind them of the numbers, the commission, the things that you've talked about. When I come in, I introduce myself. These days, I always ask, do you prefer me to wear a mask? Are we okay without a mask? Always have a mask handy, because you don't know who you're dealing with. Sorry, my phone is attached to my steering wheel. I'm going around a corner. Anyway, so as you go in, you ask them if they can show you around the house first, because before you start talking comps and numbers, you want to know what kind of a house you're dealing with. So if there was not an old MLS listing for you to look at, which I always try to start there, I will look at an old MLS listing to see, what did the house look like before, and I'll ask them, did you make any updates since you bought it, blah blah blah. But anyway, that way I kind of know what I'm dealing with. I get over to Bertrand and asked them to show me around the house, and we did. They gave me a nice tour, showed me everything, and immediately I see they are nowhere near ready to move. They've got stuff everywhere. Like, we literally, like, the basement could barely walk through. They live there. That's how people live. That's fine. I can see past all that. But what it tells me is, when they called me, they're like, we want to get on the market this weekend. I show up and I'm just like, no way. So, I'm making the list. The main thing was clean, declutter, get rid. They had a ton of furniture. And I wish I could have just recorded the appointment so that you could have felt this firsthand, but they were really receptive. And again, I'm not beating them up during the appointment. I'm making notes. And, I will casually mention some of these things as we go. Whoa! Casually mention some of these things as we're going, but I don't beat it to death. So anyway, have the appointment, go through my presentation. We're sitting there, we talk about commission. I always let them know, hey, there's a $395 Worth Clark transaction fee. I just kind of glaze over that, but it is part of the bottom line. Hey, this is a line item that you're going to see that shows up on your closing documents. No big deal. 6% commission. I give half of that, 2.7 to a buyer's agent, yada, yada, yada. I go through, find out how much they owe on their mortgage, and I do the math. So, okay, if we sell your house for $250,000, and I give them, like worst case, middle case, and best case scenario. My best case scenario is always very conservative. So anyway, I'm heading over there to do pictures today. So it's going to be interesting to see what repairs they made. I did send them some phone numbers to some of my vendors, so a handyman and a painter. So it'll be real interesting to see what the house looks like when I get over there. And I am going to do my own pictures, which I don't always suggest. In fact, I don't suggest it at all unless you've got like a photography background. Don't try to do it yourself. Hire a professional photographer for $150. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here and head in, and we'll talk on the flip side. These sellers did an amazing job of getting the house ready for market. They really needed top dollar, and they really did listen to every single thing I told them to do. They had some real shabby looking rocks up at the front porch, which they just covered with some nice mulch and some flowers. They even fixed the broken numbers on the mailbox that I suggested. They repainted the whole house, which, bless their hearts, I felt so bad because they had just painted it themselves. They hired my painter, painted the whole thing agreeable gray, got rid of all the maroons and the greens. And in that dining room area, they actually removed all this shelving that was permanently attached to the walls where they had their china displayed, and got rid of all of that because it was very invasive and intruded into the room. And the basement even turned out fabulous. They replaced the smoke-stained ceiling tiles and actually had a professional painter come and repaint that. And even though this basement is not some high-end, high-class basement, just the fact that for showings it looked so nice and clean, and it was the best that we could present. We went on market with this little number August of 2021. The market was kind of entering just a little bit of a hiccup because buyers were so disgusted with the market. I think that summer just had everyone so deflated that they had just put their buying on pause. But we needed 195 for this. That 195 was their bottom line to where they could actually make enough money for their down payment on their new house. So we listed at 185. My strategy, as most of you already know, my strategy is go in conservatively to get the most foot traffic. So we were hoping that the market would really take that 185 and multiple offers would drive that price up. We were on market 4 days. We did not get one offer the whole weekend. We went active on a Thursday. My plan is always to end offers on a Sunday and review on Monday. But as of Sunday at like 5 p.m., we had no offers. Thank God I get a call from one straggling, wayward gypsy of a realtor who's like, I know you're already done with offers and I'm really sorry, but will you still let me get in on the mix? Little did he know he was the only offer. So he kind of came in, guns blazing, PTSD. He comes in 15,000 over. We wind up at $200,000 on this listing, and my sellers were ecstatic. They were happy to get, the 200. So all's well that ends well. But, in 2021, it's so rare to only have one offer. But man, oh man, when it's Sunday night at 6 p.m., you're grateful when one comes trickling in if you haven't seen any others. So anyway, that's my story. That's what I do from beginning to end on my showing appointments. And I hope this was helpful.